I reverted to Islam in March 2024. After 4 months, I left the religion. But I did not discard the Quran and the idea that God is one and that God is the only one worthy of worship. So, what happened is that I found out that the Muslims, the community, ended up doing the same mistake that the Christians did with Jesus. The Muslims ended up idolizing Prophet Muhammad. Now, why am I saying this? Because every Muslim will disagree with me at this point. Oh, no, we don't idolize the Prophet, but they claim that he is the best of creation. So there is none like him, even though the Quran tells us that he was a human just like us. Second thing, they attribute to him the power of intercession. They claim that after God will have put people in Jahannam, in hellfire, on the day of judgment, they believe that Muhammad will come and save some of these Muslims who have been put in hell by God. So he will subvert the decision made by God. Now, we know that God is the master of the day of judgment. So if he makes a decision, that is, I mean, you cannot really argue against it. That's it. You're done. The games are finished. But somehow Muslims believe that Muhammad will be able to override God's power, God's decision. And also, the Quran tells us that there is no intercession on that day. Now, the Muslims will say, oh, but there is a verse that says that only that God can give the possibility to someone to intercede. But the Muslims who tell you, oh, well, you see, Muhammad can intercede, are simply relying on an assumption because they do not know if God will allow Muhammad to intercede for a few Muslims. Imagine for the whole Ummah across 1400 years. No way. Now, this said, there's a few other things that are quite worrying when you are in the religion of Islam, especially Sunni Islam. For example, the fact that Muslims have taken laws, principles, guidance from books other than the Quran. Now, they say that these books are the authentic words of the Prophet. But here's the first problem. The Quran clearly tells us that his duty was only to deliver the message. And now, yes, he could have explained a few things from the Quran, but he would not add principles. He would not add any laws beside what God had already given to us. And also, there is another problem, okay? So, not only in terms of authority, that, not only the hadith are problematic in terms of religious authority, they're also problematic in terms of authenticity. You see, while the Quran has been mass transmitted both orally and in written form from the first from the very beginning of the revelation, we cannot say the same for the Hadith. While we have manuscripts within the time of Prophet Muhammad, from the Quran, we don't have anything in written form, okay, that confirms that the hadith were something divinely authorized. The first collection of hadith comes 160 years after the death of the prophet. So there is a huge gap in there. There is a huge, huge gap. So yeah, these are probably the main arguments that led me to reject Sunni Islam. Um, Let me know what you think. And I would love for you guys also to know that the pure religion that Muhammad followed is still in existence today, but it's not practiced by the majority of Muslims whatsoever. Absolutely no. And what I would like the audience to do is actually to get in touch with me or to just jump on the link in my bio to find out about the pure religion that Muhammad followed, Millat Ibrahim, which today is known as submission. Any sort of any attempt to describe the Millat Ibrahim today with the word Islam is misleading. And you know why? Well, because the religion of Islam today is a later invention. It's a religion that is mainly based on the works of scholars, of people like Bukhari and Muslim, and it is it is quite problematic to see that many of the principles of today's Islam contradict the Quran. So why? Why would any sane and healthy person follow mainstream Islam? It doesn't make sense to me at all. So I invite you today to submission, the pure religion of the Quran.